welcome to Not Fake News. We have another Tucker Carlson clip, which, as in WITCH, defends Sweden rape refugees and squirms.
A lot of outlets have scrambled for some reason to rebut the notion that there's been a crime wave in Sweden. Fox asserts that concerns about migrant crime reflect, and I'm quoting now, a long history of sexual panics in the West about non-white immigrants. Is it that simple, though? Is concern about immigration in Sweden really just about white racism? Well, until last month, Zita Raji was the U.S. ambassador to Sweden, and she joins us now for some perspective. Ambassador, thanks a lot for coming on.
Thanks so much for having me, Tucker.
So it seemed we've just been talking about what the actual crime numbers are, and I don't know if we're really going to get to the truth of it, but it does seem clear to me that there is legitimate concern about it in Sweden, whether or not the average person feels free to express that. And one of the ways we know that is because the government itself said recently, wow, too many people are coming into this country, and there's a social cost to this. If the wave of refugees and immigrants wasn't a problem, why would they slow it down as they have?
Well, thank you. Tucker, I'm here for two reasons. One is that I think facts matter. People make decisions based on what they believe to be true, and those decisions have consequences now more than ever when there is so much misinformation. And we have a president that takes advantage of a wide range of resources, and you should be privileged to be one of them in giving him information to make important policy decisions for our country. So it's really important, and I appreciate the opportunity.
So she's putting down President Trump while defending Sweden, which is overrun. It is literally called the rape capital of Europe.
Opportunity to have this dialogue with you. I saw your show earlier, and I thought it was great when you talked about that we need to move beyond, let's say, that you mentioned the personality of the president.
Look at her face. Absolutely no movement or real human. She's not normal. None of them are.
Tweets, and we need to talk about the...
Except for him. See, that's a normal person listening to a crazy nut job.
Issues, and we need to figure out how to have a lot of people come here and how to have them invested in our country. I thought those were really great questions. So I think that, what's really interesting to me, you had some great guests, and the Swedish journalist that you had, I think she got in the details of these statistics enough that I really want to say I can certainly get into the weeds on this with you. For the last 2 years, I've been steeped in this very much. I've seen statistics and reports and numbers, and I would just point out that none of what I have seen backs up the claims that Mr. Horowitz has made in the interview that he had with you, and I watched it twice, and I tried to listen for specific evidence or sources that he would state, and I didn't hear that. Perhaps I missed it, but it seemed to me that
no,
it was
I don't think you did. No, actually, he gave statistics from the Swedish National Council, which I think is part of the Ministry of Justice there.
Not this one. I'm talking about the earlier. I'm talking about the earlier interview from which the president...
So let's just talk about the guy who didn't give the information and skip over the guy who gave information. So apparently two people spoke before her, and one gave information and one didn't, and she just brought up the guy who did it, and he did not bring up any statistics. Look at her. Look at her. What a good job you did, Ambassador to Sweden. Men are walking up to girls and grabbing them, if you know what I mean, and then assaulting and spitting on them and hitting them after they do it. I just seen a video. I made a video today of it. Go subscribe to my channel. Look for the video. You can't miss it. It's today. Okay?
There's been an absolute rise in reported crimes, in arrests, and these rape stats are real. And I know people said, well, that's because somehow the women are included.
Why is she smiling when he says the rape stats are real?
Including rapes from before. Okay, maybe that's true. I'm not an expert in Swedish crime stats, but the overall crimes have gone up 1.5 million in a year.
Well, I don't think it's for me to talk. I think we can sit here and talk about Swedish rape stats. And as your guest just pointed out, I think that one of the reasons, and I'm not an expert on Swedish rape stats, but I do know that a lot of the statistics, the crime rate has not skyrocketed, as has been claimed.
Okay.
And one of the reasons among many that those rape stats may be high, again, I'm not an authority on that, is because Sweden encourages people to come forward.
Okay, but it's
Let
not
me
just...
move on from that for a minute,
Sorry,
because I think that...
I'm sorry, Ambassador, I don't want you to filibuster. You just said that facts matter, and so I just threw out that the overall crime rate is going up.
So the reason she said that the rape stats are high in Sweden is because Sweden encourages people to come forward. No, it's the complete opposite. People in Sweden are so afraid to say, please, they're raping and killing us. They're hurting us. They're so afraid that, you know what they say? We're kind people. We love to bring people in. We don't mind. We are tolerant people. Let them in. And meanwhile, they're screaming and be, please, when they're behind closed doors.
1.5 million crimes in a year. Now, maybe that has nothing to do with the refugees flooding into the country, but the truth remains the government, the prime minister, have said point blank, it's just too many people, we can't handle it. And so I wonder why it's so controversial
That's
for Americans to note that this is a problem when the Swedish government itself is saying that.
Absolutely. So you nailed this right now. So that's what I want to get to, because it's really interesting to me that for the last 2 days we've been talking about Sweden. And we're talking about this, and I think what the real conversation is, what we're really saying, this is a conversation about security, it's about fear, and it's about misunderstanding, and it's about us. And we are talking about Sweden because what we're really talking about is, could this happen to us? And I can tell you that Sweden takes care of Sweden.
Yes, people, it can. It hasn't just happened to Sweden, okay? It's happening in Italy. It's happening in Australia. It's happening in Germany. It's happening everywhere. Maybe not Russia, because Russia's not playing games. And I don't know about China. I don't know about the Japan areas. They're probably afraid to do that there. They get Bruce Lee straight up.
It is a wonderful country. It's. I can go on.
Even the young lady walking around in China be freaking take him the hell out.
But it ranks highest in the industrial competitors, all that. Okay, and they have their challenges, and they have taken a lot of people, and they're dealing with the challenges. But that does not mean that that is somehow related to migrants. When you take so many people, we're never going to be Sweden.
Oh, they're just Muslim guys with mustaches running around claiming to be 14-year-old kids. Yeah. And remember before when I told you that they're grabbing girls? Well, they are. Right in front of their own kid. Right in front of the woman's kids. They did it. I got the video.
Now, Sweden has taken about 200,000 people, over the last 3 years, proportion to our population. If we were to take that many people, we would have taken 6 to 7 million refugees in this country.
But hold on. I'm running out of patience to tell you, Ambassador, because you're not getting to the core of it here, which is...
What does this have to do with us, is what I'm saying. Even if what everybody's saying, that the sensationalism is true about Sweden, crime,
here's what it has to do with us, because the left in Sweden and the United States has exactly the same response, which is anybody who has any qualm about this, A, better shut up. In Sweden, you can face prosecution. Or B, is simply just a racist. You're a bigot.
Did you hear what he said? In Sweden, you can face prosecution if you bring this up. And she just said that Sweden encourages you to come forward, and that's why they have high rape statistics, because they're encouraged to come forward. Meanwhile, and I believe Tucker, of course, he just said that they will arrest you if you come forward and say anything bad about, migrants.
If you don't like it. And my point is, there are
I'm
real
going to back
reasons
that up a
not
couple
to like
seconds
it.
so
you
you
don't have
don't
to
miss
be
what he
bigot not
said.
to prosecution.
about Sweden, crimes
Here's what it
skyrocketing.
has to do with us, because the left in Sweden and the United States has exactly the same response, which is anybody who has any qualm about this, A, better shut up. In Sweden, you can face prosecution. Or B, is simply just a racist. You're a bigot if you don't like it. And my point is, there are real reasons not to like it. You don't have to be a bigot not to like it. There are social costs and economic costs to this, and nobody in the left wants to admit it, and I don't know why. It's very patronizing and it's very annoying to have to lie in order to meet some standard.
I would address that. Again, when Mr. Horowitz was having that interview with you initially, he was saying, well, many people are saying this, or I went to some swanky party and people were yelling at me. Let me tell you one thing, that actually made me crack up a little bit. That is suspicious to me. Swedes don't yell, particularly in swanky parties. So I don't know where he's getting his information.
I'll answer this. The Sweden Democrat, the party...
What nonsense is she talking about? Do you see her? What's with her tongue? What's with her mouth? What is with her? What the hell is wrong with her?
It was considered so right-wing and fringe 10 years ago is now vying for second place. Its support has doubled
But Tucker,
in the past 2 years.
Point
Why
to you
is that?
You want to talk about core issue. This is another country. We're talking about the politics and the demographics and the challenges of another country. Why are we talking about any other country? Why are we talking about Sweden?
We
what
could
does this have
talk
to do
about
with
France.
us?
We could talk about Germany or Belgium or Great Britain. I mean, it's all of a piece,
to what
obviously.
End? You know,
it's obvious
when I was in
because
Sweden,
it's a template for what's happening here. That's why.
And you are the Swedish ambassador, so we're speaking about Sweden. You imbecile.
Okay, that's what I'm trying to say. Well, that's what I started out by saying. Let's talk about the core issues. We're talking about this because we think it has something to do with us.
Okay, I'm sorry. We are out of time, and I wish we'd gotten more to the points here, Ambassador, but I appreciate your expertise in coming on tonight. Thank you very much.
Absolutely.
Yeah,
Thank
your
you.
expertise, yeah, right. Wow. Thanks for watching. Subscribe if you haven't already subscribed. And share this with your friends and family. Get the word out. Sweden, everywhere, it's happening. Okay, Trump is right. We need to stop them from coming in. I also saw an article, I don't mean to stop again, but I saw an article the other day where the pharmaceutical companies or something like that are saying we have to let in the Muslims with their diseases because we need to study their disease. I mean, they're just saying anything now. Okay, this is a fight. We have to fight because they're not stopping. This is a never-ending thing right now. Until, 8 years from now, they're gonna still be fighting. So we need to share this, get the word out, and hopefully drown them out so they can't, so they get tired because they're gonna keep throwing roadblocks at us. Subscribe to the channel if you haven't subscribed, and if you like what we're doing here at Not Fake News, support us by hitting the like button. It's important that you do it, and we really appreciate it. So like the video. Thanks so much, and I'll see you next time at Not Fake News.